problem is that now that I've got a job in an agency and I'm working really hard and I'm doing all this stuff day and night, learning each day, I just feel like I'm wasting my time. I just feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And my destiny is making movies.
Believe it or not, I've been making movies since 2017, and since then it's been a real struggle to understand if my videos are good or not. At that time, when I look back, I used to hate everything that I produced. When I look back now, they were pretty okay. And so, since I've given up on my job and I've now become hopeless in my ability to commit to things which I don't care about, I really wanted to find out if there was some system, some method, some model of progress which we could use to understand our standing within a skill. And since we're on the topic of ego on this channel, I wanted a model which could accurately tell me if I am fooling myself or if I'm not.
Luckily for me, I found a book known as Hunch by Bernadette Jiva. The book describes a model known as the Dreyfus Model of skill acquisition. I'm going to draw out the Dreyfus Model to explain it to you a little better. The Dreyfus Model consists of 5 stages. The stages are novice, competent, proficient, expert, and master. When it comes to my filmmaking journey, I want to peg myself in these 5 stages to see where I stand and where I come. Stage 1. The novice. The novice is given rules as a security to try something. He feels that the rules exist in a vacuum, and he feels security because of the rules. When it comes to stage 1, I have a very strong opinion that there exists a stage before stage 1. See, when I look back at my filmmaking days, when I started off without knowing any of the rules, what ended up happening was that my work was completely haphazard and it did not have any form of thought behind it. And so the acquisition of rules were the sort of thing that I learned in college, which could make my work a lot better. And so not knowing the rules is also a stage before the stage 1. If I look back at my journey on making movies, there are 3 stages. 1 before I studied the rules, 1 after the rules, and the 3rd one where I broke the rules. You are at a stage when I broke the rules. Right after I learned how to write a script and how to create movies, I made my first project known as Like Clockwork. This was the first project which I did deliberately with logic and with everything being calculated. This was the best moment of my entire life. And that takes us to stage 2, where the novice learns how to use the rules and internalizes them to create something beautiful. After I made the movie known as Like Clockwork, I really wanted to create more, and so for 1 month I produced around 10 to 15 movies, and these were on topics such as this. And after really, I was really itching to tell a different sort of more challenging story, and so I learned the method of making documentaries. But after making a couple documentaries which were sort of, I didn't share with anyone, I was feeling a lot more, ambitious, and I wanted to tell a more complex story. I wanted to tell a story where I could explain the idea, but also keep the people interested in my journey to gain the idea. So I started experimenting with something known as sandwiching. The normal structure of a story consists of 3 parts: the starting,
the climax, and the ending. With my method, I wanted to sandwich the idea between the story so I could make the story more intriguing. The result was a beautiful movie known as Certainty, the movie about uncertainty, the most beautiful work I've produced so far.
After Certainty, though, everything slowed down a little bit. I stopped creating as much work. Everything became a little more chaotic. There were no rules to fall back to. There was nothing I could do to express my work. And so I just started consuming the work by the great artists that I admire, artists who create magic, trying to learn a thing or two from the great ones. And that brings me to stage 3. Feeling of this stage is dissolving of the rules, the taking away of the security blanket, the safety of the rules go away. You're on your own. You just have perspectives and ideas to adopt, nothing to fall back to. Unfortunately for me, this is the limit of my understanding of this model. The above 2 stages, the expert and the master, I maybe will be able to understand after years of practice, years of consuming art. And years more of reading. Until then, I'll just keep on working harder.